Ethan, I picked up your test results. Megan was crying so hard over the phone, she could barely speak. Ethan Walker gave his deputy a look, silently asking him to leave the office, and stayed on the call with his wife. Deals, contracts, business, none of that mattered now. So, what did they say? Is everything okay? No, Ethan, it's not. It's bad. You can't become a father. What? That can't be right. This was our last hope. We'll figure something out, Ethan said quickly. We can go abroad. I'll take any treatment. Just please don't cry. But Megan kept sobbing, and Ethan tried to calm her, knowing deep inside that his world was collapsing. There was no fixing this. He was infertile, and the woman he loved more than anything wanted to be a mother. Megan, sweetheart, maybe the clinic made a mistake? No, they didn't. They ran the tests several times. I was there. These are the final results. There's no error. I understand. Okay, please try to relax. Go to the spa or do some shopping. We'll talk everything through tonight. He hung up and just sat there, staring into nothing. He loved Megan desperately. He knew how much she dreamed of holding their baby one day. And now, because of him, she would never experience that. She'd wither away like a beautiful flower, without water. Could he really condemn her to that kind of pain? To take away the biggest happiness in life? He had dreamed of children, too, but he spent years building his company, working nonstop, living at his steel manufacturing plant. Family life never fit into his schedule. He thought the dream of having kids would remain just that, a dream, until Megan came along. They first met by accident at a grocery store in downtown Seattle. Normally, Ethan's driver did all the shopping, but that day Ethan went himself and saw her at the register, young, petite, with huge brown eyes and long chestnut hair. She tried to pay with her card, but there wasn't enough money. The cashier was annoyed. Megan searched through her wallet for loose change, embarrassed, and Ethan immediately stepped in. He paid for her groceries, and then offered her a ride home. And in that moment, he realized he never wanted to let her go. He courted her beautifully. He was 38. She was 23. A fresh college graduate with a degree in English literature, trying to find a teaching job. Money was running out, and she couldn't find a school hiring. She was about to move back to her small hometown and work there. But 2 weeks before leaving, she met Ethan. Wealthy, charismatic, older, but incredibly caring, generous, and absolutely crazy about her. Ethan's friends never understood what he saw in her. To them, she was plain, shy, badly dressed. Nothing special. But her mind, that's something else, Ethan always replied. She has this depth to her. She surprises me every single day. She's the kind of woman you admire, someone who stays a mystery no matter how well you know her. Megan stepped into a real-life fairy tale. Instead of going back to a small town with her alcoholic mother and working in a rural school, she stayed in Seattle and married Ethan. A house, a car, a no-limit credit card, travel, anything she wanted. She didn't work. Ethan told her she could find a hobby she liked and enjoy her life. Megan began reading books, running a blog about literature, and no longer worried about how to afford groceries or pay rent. She quickly got used to her new lifestyle. The shy girl transformed into a demanding, spoiled woman. She had everything, but wanted more. 2 years into the marriage, she told Ethan she wanted a baby. He agreed. He wanted kids too. Time was passing. Megan grew more beautiful each year, while he wasn't getting any younger. But no matter what they tried, they couldn't become parents. Ethan, how can this be? Am I really never going to be a mom? Megan sobbed in his arms. It'll work out, sweetheart. Don't worry. We'll get through this, he whispered, trying to calm her. They kept doing tests, visiting doctors, hearing different opinions. Most specialists told them everything was fine. They just needed to wait. But Megan didn't believe it. After every appointment, she cried, had meltdowns, shut everyone out. Finally, at her insistence, they went to another clinic. Megan found a doctor through a friend's recommendations and made Ethan redo every test. And today, the final results came. Ethan rushed home to comfort his crying wife. When he stepped into the living room, the lights were off. Megan lay on the couch in complete darkness. "Honey, please don't be so upset," he said, holding her tightly. Maybe this is how it's meant to be. You know how much I want a baby. Ethan, all my friends already have kids, and I'm still not a mom. Why is life so unfair? Are you sure the clinic didn't mess up the results? I'm sure. I trust this doctor with my life. Ethan, I love you so much, but what do we do now? How are we supposed to live like this? Together, like before, we'll still be happy. We have each other. I don't know, she whispered. It hurts so much. I feel like we'll never be happy. We just won't. Megan buried her face in the couch and cried again. He stayed quiet. His wife, his world, was devastated, broken, and all because of him, even though none of it was his fault. He listened to her cry, wiped her tears, held her, said nothing. It felt unbearable. The doctor had said the case was hopeless. After that day, everything changed. Megan stopped leaving the house, stopped writing for her blog, stopped going out to restaurants or shopping. She lay in bed all day, cried, barely spoke. Every evening Ethan came home from work, held her, and gently asked, "Do you still love me?" "More than anything," she'd whisper and turn to the wall. And that became a kind of torture. Ethan started thinking that if he didn't have this condition, she would be happy. And because of him, she couldn't be. The guilt tore him apart. He couldn't think about work, couldn't sleep, couldn't imagine living normally while the woman he loved was drowning in pain. 3 months later, he came home carrying a thick folder of documents. Megan, like always lately, was watching videos online. How to choose a stroller, baby essentials, how to prepare for motherhood. "Megan, we need to talk." "About what?" "This can't go on. I see what this is doing to you, and I know I'm the only one to blame." She stayed silent. "You deserve to be a mom. You deserve to raise a child, hold a baby in your arms, and I want that for you. But what can we do?" "No, not we." He took a deep breath. "You know, I always said I'd do anything to make you happy. And I meant it." He placed the folder on the table. "These are the documents of the company. The house, the car. Everything is in your name now. It all belongs to you." "What? Ethan, what are you saying?" "Please don't interrupt. I've made my decision." He swallowed hard. "I'm leaving. I want you to meet a good man, someone who can give you a child. You're the best person I've ever known, but we need to part. I can't let you keep suffering because of me." "So you're just leaving me? You're abandoning me?" "I'm giving you everything I have and letting you go into a better life, a happy life." "Where will you go?" she whispered. "I'll disappear for a while. Somewhere quiet. Somewhere far. I need time to think. I can't accept my diagnosis. I can't accept the fact that I'm making you miserable. So, please try to understand me. And forgive me. Ethan said quietly. The next morning, he left. For real. He gave Megan everything and walked away with nothing. He bought an old used car and rented a small house in a rural town a few hours away from Portland. His friends and business partners didn't understand, but stopping him was impossible. The house he rented was solid but very old. Ethan parked the car outside and stepped in to look around. Worn-out furniture, a tiny gas stove, rotten floorboards, dusty, cloudy windows. There's a lot to fix here, but maybe that's good, he muttered. Something to keep my hands busy. It reminded him of his grandmother's farmhouse, where he spent every summer as a kid, painting fences, chopping wood, patching shutters, heating the stove, pulling weeds, taking care of animals. He had forgotten all that after college, after launching his company. But now, when life had collapsed, maybe living in the countryside and trying to find some meaning again wasn't the worst idea. Hey, you there? Seriously? Where do you think you're parking that thing? A woman's voice shouted from the gate. Ethan turned. Move that car. How am I supposed to walk by? What happened? Why are you yelling? Why? Because your fancy toy is blocking the path. A woman stood by the fence, bundled up in a big puffy blue jacket, a white headscarf, a floral skirt, thick wool tights, warm socks, and huge rubber boots. She leaned against the fence, breathing heavily. I can't get through. There's a space right over there. Park there instead. What? You think people should squeeze around your car? You can't just walk around? Ethan raised his voice. There's plenty of room. Don't yell at me. I can't walk around. She pointed at her leg. It hurts. Everyone around here knows. I walk close to the fences. No one parks here. Are you new or what? Move the car. I'm not going to make it through. Oh, sorry. Ethan froze, embarrassed. He rushed to move the car to the empty open patch across the road. The woman watched him, still leaning on the fence. Up close, she wasn't as old as he first thought, maybe around 40. Thank you. And please, don't park here again. Are you staying long? I don't know. Depends on life. Hiding from someone, she smirked. Got into trouble? No. If I'm hiding, it's from myself. Ah, yeah. We've all been through that, she said, nodding. I'm Linda. I live 2 houses down. If you need anything, drop by. No husband at home, so nobody's going to chase you away. Thanks. I'm Ethan. Well, come over sometime. I'm not walking to you, that's for sure. Around here we're all friendly. Neighbors help neighbors. A week later, Ethan visited her. He had fried a huge pan of potatoes and realized he couldn't finish even half. So he put some in a bowl and walked over. Oh, come in, Linda said. Didn't expect guests, but I've always got something put on the table. I actually brought something myself. Ethan said, lifting the bowl. Made too much. Oh, I'll happily take that. She lit up. Let me grab some pickled cabbage and tomatoes. One moment. As she walked around the kitchen, Ethan again noticed how hard it was for her to move. Let me help, he offered. No. I'm used to it. Been working at the farm for years. Hard. Yeah, but what can you do? As long as we walk, we live. The moment we lie down, we're done. She sat down and took a bite of the potatoes. Her face changed instantly. What? Is it that bad? He joked. To be honest, awful, she burst out laughing. I've never eaten raw salted potatoes before. You really didn't hold back on the salt. Well, cooking isn't exactly my talent. So what do you eat? A man living alone should at least know how to cook something. What is it? Pasta with food. Pasta, Ethan sighed, though it doesn't turn out great either. Oh, want some borscht? With garlic? And a little smoked pork fat. Honestly, I'd love that. Haven't eaten properly in days. I hope you understand me and forgive me, Ethan said softly. The next morning, he left. He truly gave Megan everything and walked away with nothing. He bought an old used car and rented a tiny farmhouse in a rural county outside Oregon. His friends and partners didn't get it, but arguing with him was pointless. The house was sturdy but ancient. He parked outside and stepped inside. Old furniture, a tiny gas stove, squishy, rotting floorboards, dusty windows. Plenty of work here, but maybe that's good, he murmured. Something to keep his mind occupied. He hadn't lived this simply since his childhood summers at his grandmother's farm. Painting fences, fixing shutters, chopping wood, tending animals. He had forgotten that life until everything collapsed. Then he heard a woman yelling from the gate. Hey, seriously? You can't park that thing right here. A woman stood by the fence wearing a thick blue jacket, a white scarf, a floral skirt, wool tights, warm socks, and big rubber boots. She was out of breath, leaning heavily against the wooden boards. I can't get by. Move your car. There's a parking spot right there. She pointed. You're new, huh? Ethan apologized and quickly moved the car. Up close, she wasn't that old, maybe around 40. Thanks. And don't park here again. So, how long are you staying? No idea, depends on how life goes. Hiding from someone? She smirked. Got into trouble? If I'm hiding, it's from myself. Ah, been there, she said. I'm Linda. I live 2 houses down. If you need anything, come by. No husband at home, so nobody's kicking you out. A week later, Ethan brought her fried potatoes he made. Way too much for one person. Oh, come in. I've got pickled cabbage and tomatoes, she said, limping around the kitchen. He noticed how hard it was for her to walk. Let me help. No, I'm used to it. Got her at the farm. Fell into an uncovered repair pit. They messed up the surgery. Damaged a nerve. It hurts like hell, but doctors won't touch it. Said, as long as you can walk, walk. She tasted the potatoes and burst out laughing. Well, honestly, horrible. So salty I could mummify myself with it. Ethan laughed. Cooking isn't my talent. What do you eat then? Pasta from a can? Pretty much. And I'm bad at that too. Then you're staying for borscht, she declared, with garlic and smoked pork fat. For the first time in months, Ethan relaxed. Her warmth, her humor, her simple kindness. He felt peaceful. She made him borscht, pickles, tea with homemade jam. Someone was caring for him. For him, not his money, not his status. Just him. He fell asleep on her couch, and when they woke up the next morning, he found her curled up beside him, smiling shyly. Guess you passed out, she whispered. He brushed her hair gently. Linda, you're not getting rid of me. That's for sure. After a night like that, you pretty much owe me a wedding, she giggled. Maybe I do, he smiled back. And he meant it. They began living together. Ethan took a job managing the local farm. His leadership skills made him invaluable. The townspeople respected him. Life felt quiet, simple, real. Then one evening, Linda slid an ultrasound photo across the table. Ethan, I was at the doctor today. What's this? I'm pregnant. Twins. What? That can't be. I can't have kids. Well, apparently you can. She laughed through tears. The proof is right here. But they told me. Who told you? The doctor personally or your ex-wife? Ethan froze. A shock ran through him. Megan told me. Thought so, Linda whispered. Seems like the right time to ask. He drove to the city the next week, and through trusted connections, he learned the truth. Megan had lied. She had a lover her own age. Together, they staged everything. Fake documents, false diagnoses, emotional manipulation to break Ethan down, guilt-trip him, and eventually take his money. But that betrayal barely touched him now. He had a new life, a real one. He used the police and old friends who knew how to talk to people to return everything Megan had stolen. She ended up moving back to her rundown hometown, living with her alcoholic mother, and begging for help, while Ethan reclaimed what was his. Ethan bought a new family home. He and Linda moved in with their newborn twin boys, Sam and Liam. That first evening, they sat beside the two tiny cribs, watching their son sleep, both crying from happiness. Linda, Ethan whispered, sometimes I think if I hadn't cooked that ridiculous amount of potatoes that day, none of this would have happened. Looks like it was meant to be, she smiled. Think it was fate? Absolutely.